96.7 KCAL rocks, man. So much went down in the sports world professionally, collegiately. That's why we have to talk to our guy. Pep, what's going on, Pep?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning to all the rockers out there across the Inland Empire. Uh, the Lakers have kind of been just stagnant this season, right? Not a lot going on, nothing really exciting, even with all the stars on this team. And then all of a sudden, all it took was a big melee, a big fight between the Pistons and the Lakers to maybe spark something inside the Lakers to flip that switch and turn it on. They did beat the Pistons last night, 121-116, but the story was LeBron James punching 20-year-old Isaiah Stewart of the Pistons. He had a whole bloodied face. LeBron gets ejected. The Lakers rally behind that, and they win the game. Could this be a turning point, guys? And LeBron, I guess he's a fighter. I didn't know.
Boy, that guy was really going after LeBron. I kind of felt maybe once he saw the blood, maybe he kind of snapped and really lost his mind.
I mean, seeing blood will have that effect on certain people where they just go crazy red. And he made several attempts to get over there. At one point, running across the court going after LeBron.
It did look unintentional, if I had to call it
I would
myself.
say so, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys bring up so many great points on this one. And Isaiah Stewart, who, to be honest, full disclosure, I had never heard of Isaiah Stewart until last night, but he's 20 years old. He took the punch from LeBron, whether it was intentional or not, and then he just kept going at LeBron, and LeBron was backing up. Like, he wanted no part of this, but what was done was done. And I think Stewart, even, the last shot of him on video at least, was him running into the tunnel. So, like, he's leaving the basketball floor. He's going back into the locker rooms. He's running, and we're assuming to go find LeBron. And LeBron probably has like a 20-person entourage. Nobody's getting close to LeBron James, but he was trying.
Well, to even hear that the security was on alert because they've had it before where as soon as he decided to run into the tunnel, they were afraid that he was going to run around to the other tunnel that the Lakers were using and come out that way to keep fighting. So they had security and the Lakers team watch for their side of the tunnel to watch out for him circling back around.
It was a brawl.
It was a brawl. The Lakers won. And they're right around 500 on the season. Maybe this is something that will unite this team, fire them up. I don't know. But LeBron could be suspended for some games after this as well. Again, whether the punch was intentional or not, he could miss some time.
I think him being ejected was a little much. I mean, like you said, it was his hand that hit him in the face, but did not seem like it was intentional. So I didn't think kicking him out of the game was necessary, because especially since he didn't have the reaction that guy had either. Like, Ron was just kind of hanging back.
I wonder if they ejected him because they were just worried about the backlash of not doing something against the greatest player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why. I'm not totally against it, but I would be against him getting some kind of suspension for it.
Is he going to get fined, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah.
He could. LeBron throwing the punch, again, intentional or not, and then Isaiah Stewart, the retaliation, both these guys. But obviously, LeBron means more to the Lakers than Isaiah Stewart means to the Pistons. So that would be significant for the Lakers if they were without LeBron James for some time. And plus, the NBA's probably thinking, LeBron James, he's the reason, right, to watch a lot of these games when the Lakers go to pick any random NBA city, Sacramento, Memphis. Like, he's the reason a lot of people buy tickets to go see the Lakers with LeBron in town. So I know the NBA wants him out there, so they'll probably do anything they can to make sure that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen people have your take on it, too, where they're like, look, this team was just kind of like a 500 team. They haven't been performing well, but now if this is that thing that pulls them together, watch out.
Yeah.
Could be. It could be. I don't know if that, it'll make instant chemistry on the court with all those superstars, but it's something. And the Lakers were down to Detroit. They came back and won. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was the big story last night across the NBA. Now to the NFL, guys. Sunday Night Football, primetime game. The whole country saw it. The Chargers coming back. They had the big lead, then they gave it away. Then they came back and won at the end against the Steelers. 41-37. Justin Herbert, the quarterback, was fantastic. Austin Eckler, the running back, had 4 touchdowns. And the Chargers, and dare I say, the Kansas City Chiefs, who beat the Cowboys yesterday, it might come down to those two teams for the AFC West title now.
Yeah, you can see that.
We're finally starting to see some separation in the AFC West, where they've all been pretty much right around the same records. Now we're getting the division of the Chiefs and Chargers on the top side, and maybe the Raiders and the Broncos falling below.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? And your boy Derek Carr, man, he's the most polarizing guy in the NFL. Like 1 week, I see all these stats, making a case of why he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Like he's completed this many passes, has this many yards, like he's one of the greats in the NFL right now. And then the next week, you see these stats and you're like, oh yeah, he shouldn't even be starting in the NFL. Like he's so polarizing. And the Raiders came up obviously empty, short against the Bengals yesterday, 32-13, and the Raiders are at 5-5 right now. But I feel like Derek Carr, 1 week he's the best quarterback in the NFL, and the next week people are yelling he should not even be starting in the NFL.
This season, it's tough.
It's a position that gets catapulted, kind of like whoever the Cowboys quarterback is going to be, whoever the Raiders quarterback is. Just kind of instantly gets a little bit more of a catapult to their whole aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Derek Carr had the numbers to back it up. For the first couple weeks of the season, leading the NFL in passing yards, he had a ton of touchdowns. Like, people were saying like, oh, he belongs up there with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Like he's one of those elite guys. And then the next week, man, people are just slamming him on Twitter, which they're doing that today because they had nothing against Cincinnati yesterday, just scoring 13 points.
Things were going so great.
That's the Raiders, man. You know what I mean? Like when they're hot, they're hot. When they're cold, and the fans, the fans are vocal. What else how else can I say it? Like the fans are going to let them know about it. And now with social media, it's everywhere. The Raiders are just getting hammered right now. But the good news is they're 5-5. Chargers are 6-4. Kansas City 7-4. It's like, there's still a lot of football, but the Raiders are now falling a little bit behind in the AFC West.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago they were all gridlocked with 5 wins, and you can see where the Raiders have stayed there, kind of stayed stagnant, and the Chargers and Chiefs have kept increasing that number.
Yeah. Nice win for the Chargers and for Kansas City. Listen, the offense is still not right, but the defense won that game yesterday against the Cowboys. So Kansas City, I don't know, dare I say the best team in the AFC right now because the AFC is just so much up in the air. The Patriots are coming on strong. Titans and Bills, they're kind of hard to figure out right now. Who knows? Kansas City might be the best team in the AFC when it's all said and done.
We'll find out.
Titans with a shocking loss to the Texans over the weekend.
Yeah, dude, the AFC every single week in the NFL, like I always say, even the bad teams can sneak up and get you, right, on any weekend. And we're finding that out. The Bills took some bad losses. The Titans took a bad loss yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs have been hard to figure out. Now the rise of the Patriots. Who it's hard to say. It's hard to say who will be number one in the AFC by the time we get to playoff time. But the good news is we still got like half a season of football still to go to figure this out.
Listen,
Yep.
I do love watching teams dominate their way through a season, but there is something about this season where, every 2-3 weeks it feels like we have new powerhouses on top of every division. And this year is just everybody's kind of muddy in the middle. There's not a whole lot of domination on top where you got teams just taking off and leaving.
The week-to-week league that is the NFL.
Yeah, that buzzword for a long time was parity, right? Everybody wanted parity, where you just did not know what was going to happen each and every weekend. And I think we're there. You're right, 40. We don't have those couple dominant teams right now with, they're undefeated or just one loss. It's not happening this year. This is not the league this year. Everybody is kind of, like you said, muddied in the middle. Everyone's kind of very close in terms of record, very close right now. So anything can happen in the NFL.
We still have the Lions on the bottom side, though.
Yeah. Yes, on the flip side, you still have the awful Detroit Lions. And finally, guys, over the weekends of college football, UCLA hammering USC 62-33. The Bruins will be going to a postseason bowl game. And one other Pac-12 score, Utah at home in Salt Lake City, giving it to the Oregon Ducks, 38-7. So the Oregon Ducks get yanked out of that national championship playoff picture. That was a bad loss for the Ducks on the road at the Utes.
Did we not talk about this on Thursday?
Yes.
We're like, dude, this is Utah is such a pain in the ass, and they went bonkers. And that Trey, can't remember his last name right now. I call him Dr. Trey. That running back for Utah, he was dominating, and he looked like Derrick Henry running up and down the field on him.
And we had talked about how, we thought that Oregon could fall to Utah, but we also mentioned that maybe it was in Utah's best interest to just let Oregon get to the playoff for the Pac-12.
Do your, conference, your duty.
But a huge win for them.
Yeah, it was. We all wanted to see the Pac-12 in that playoff. It looks like it's not going to happen this year unless the wheels completely fall off on some of these other teams in the Big Ten and the SEC, which is probably not going to happen. So, yeah, it looks like the Pac-12 will be shut out of that national playoff once again.
Thanks, Utah.
Yeah, my friend who hates the Ducks texted me, quack.
Yeah.
Pep, tell him how to get your stuff.
It's Inland Sports. You can check us out on social media, the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Highlights of Centennial's 21-16 loss to Mater Dei. It broke my heart. The Huskies had them right there. But you can check it out on Inland Sports.